Baylor fans and just people here at Baylor and the Baylor community just remember me as somebody who was just energetic. I'm very inclusive. I want to get the community involved. You can kind of see that on the court when I'm hyping up the crowd, but I just love a community feel.
Welcome to the Sic Em Podcast. I'm your host, John Morris. From the time she was 8 years old to her final season of college basketball, Aijha Blackwell has carried her family's legacy.
Yes, my dad passed away when I was 3 years old, and he wore that number. He also wore number 42. I just want to carry on his legacy by wearing this number.
And from the time she stepped on a basketball court, she has dominated the glass.
Yeah, I mention it all the time, like Dennis Rodman. I just love, his tenacity, his just edge to go get the basketball out the rim. Like, no matter if it's bouncing off 2 feet away from the rim, you still got to go get it. And so I try to, mimic him a little bit. But yeah, I watch a lot of his videos.
Now in her senior season, she's looking forward to playing in her first NCAA tournament and achieving more than she ever has.
Yeah, it's going to be real fun. I never played in an NCAA tournament or NCAA game, like tournament game. So it's just, I've been there last year, of course, when we went and played Alabama and UConn. But I never actually physically played in the game. So it's going to be a lot of feels in the air, but I can't wait.
Aijha Blackwell, welcome to the Sic Em Podcast. Appreciate you being on with us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Season's rocking along here. We just wanted to visit with you and let people get to know you a little bit more and things about you off the court and growing up. So let's start when you were growing up, born in St. Louis, right? What was growing up in your family like?
It was competitive. I grew up with 6 other siblings, and the household was full of activities to do every day, sports outside, football in the backyard, basketball in the front yard. So it was competitive.
Pretty sports-oriented family, it sounds like.
Yes.
Do you remember playing basketball at an early age?
Yes, I started when I was 8 years old. My mom was my first coach. She kind of put that ball in my hand and was just like, okay, here we go.
That's great. And how was that? Sometimes that's good, comfortable with your mom as your coach. Sometimes, it creates some interesting dinner time conversations.
Oh, yes, for sure. She tried to balance the two, but it was times where I was really angry at my mom because it was like that coach and daughter syndrome.
Right.
Yeah, I had that. And I would be very angry at my mom sometimes, but yeah, we had a balance.
Great. And I know you're choosing number 33. I know that's significant to you and your family.
Yes, my dad passed away when I was 3 years old, and he wore that number. He also wore number 42. I just want to carry on his legacy by wearing this number.
That's really nice. And he played at Mizzou, right?
Yes, he played in my former school, college.
Yeah, very good. What about, did you, going into basketball and you're wearing his number, did you want to sort of continue his legacy, and continue in the sport?
Yes, I did. I can't play football, but I chose basketball. Basketball is a sport God put me in.
Right. And
so I just wanted to carry out, his legacy and what he didn't continue to do through my sport and the sport that I love. So
very good. At what point in basketball did you think, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
It had to be in middle school. In St. Louis, it was big getting scholarships. Not many people, make it out of my city. So, just getting, my first scholarship was from the St. Louis University. And so that was the big university around my hometown. And so getting that scholarship was just like, okay, I could do this. Yeah.
What was your high school?
Cardinal Ritter College Prep.
And how was that? You were really good in high school.
Yeah, I actually transferred. I went to 2 different high schools, but high school was high school. Missouri was a good state, and we had a lot of talent. We also have a lot of talent. You see Nafisa Collier coming out. You see Bella coming from Missouri, and we have a lot of talent in Missouri. So.
Yeah, you got a lot of pride there in Missouri, I can tell, which you should. When it comes recruiting time after high school, what was that process like? Did most people, you're the number 1 recruit in the state, did everybody just assume you were going to go to Mizzou, or what was that like?
Yeah, it was, I had everybody on their toes, and I always apologize for it, but people had their minds kind of made up. I was going to Mizzou, but I did take my visits to different universities and different institutions, but Yeah, Missouri just had the upper hand.
Yeah. What other schools did you visit, official visits?
I went to Louisville. I went to KU. I went to Mississippi State. And Yeah. So
Gotcha. You can't grow up in Missouri and end up at KU.
Yeah,
you know
no.
what they wouldn't have let you back in the state, right?
No.
That would have been great. Well, great career at Missouri, and even your first year there. I mean, was it 15-7 you averaged as a freshman at Mizzou?
Yeah, my freshman year was tough. We really didn't come out on the winning side, but I guess individually I did what I was supposed to do. I wish that our record could have been differently, but yeah. I'm proud of myself.
Very good. So you felt like, I mean, I would think you felt like, hey, I can play at this level, I can do well, but I'd sure like for the team to be winning more.
Yes. Playing in the SEC was tough as a freshman. You know, you playing against Tyasha Harris. You're playing against these people who are now at the professional level.
Right.
So they're getting me ready at a young age, and I was starting at that age, and yeah. It was,
so your next 2 years, you average a double-double. I mean, you were putting up some really big numbers. How did you, during that time, how did you grow? How did your game evolve?
I just think that, you know, I was down. I was battling with the bigs. I was battling with the post players on the opposing team, and that just made me tougher. It made me want to go grab more rebounds. It made me, you know, not become a punk, I guess, and just go grab those boards, go be aggressive. You know, I was undersized post player at the time, so yeah, I was just.
Did you play the 5 for the most part, or the 4?
Yeah, mostly the 4.
The 4, well, that makes sense, but still a little bit undersized.
Yeah.
But golly, you found a way, and rebounding, gosh, you're so good at rebounding.
Thank you.
Anybody you pattern your game after, or you really like, and maybe you learned from?
Yeah, I mention it all the time, like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
I just love, you know, his tenacity, his just edge to go get the basketball out the rim. Like, no matter if it's bouncing off 2 feet away from the rim, you still got to go get it. And so I try to, you know, mimic him a little bit. But yeah, I watched a lot of his videos. So.
That's good. I see that in your game.
Yeah.
Having, you know, watched him play, and it's just like, that's my ball. I'm going to go get it, right?
Yes.
That's a pretty good person to emulate, and your game sort of shows that. Has rebounding always been kind of your go-to for you?
It hasn't always been. I've always been like a scorer. I've always been like an attack, drive down, get downhill to the basket. You know, I just wanted to add that extra part to my game, you know, because once you're around players who can do it, who can actually get to the basket and who can just do stuff, I mean, you can find like something that you're really good at. And I've just found that rebounding is something I was like really good at.
Nice. So 2022, you enter the transfer portal. What was that like going through that process?
It was tough. It was actually like emotional. Like I had like an emotional attachment towards Mizzou, of course, because it's my hometown. I was bleeding black and gold, and so it was very like an emotional attachment. But you know, I wanted to explore different options. You know, I still love Mizzou, but I did want to explore different options, and I wanted to play at the highest level. I wanted to win, and I wanted to go chase championships, and so that's why I entered the portal. Very
good. And you end up here. What was your first contact from Baylor like?
It was matter of fact, like I was actually surprised because, you know, Coach Nikki, she coached at the next level, and that's somewhere I aspired to be one day. So I was just like, oh my God, like Coach Nikki Collins, you know. But yeah, talking to her was good. I mean, she told me, you know, she wanted me to play the 3. She wanted me to get outside my comfort zone and just step outside that post area, possibly get back in it when I have a little on me. But yeah, she taught me a lot about my position.
Good. So she was speaking your language.
Yeah.
Was it, I mean, I know you heard, I'm sure you heard from a lot of other schools. Was it, Baylor top of the list immediately, or did Baylor have to kind of move up that list?
It was between Baylor and Ole Miss for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Ole Miss a little bit, but Baylor definitely came on top after talking to Coach Nikki and just her plan. But yeah.
What was it that finally turned you, to make the decision to come to Baylor?
She kind of told me, come to the Big 12 and dominate. See if you can dominate in the Big 12.
Nice.
So you dominated in the SEC, see if you can dominate in the Big 12. So she kind of led with that.
That's a pretty good sales pitch. So you come in here and, great reputation. Everybody's excited about having you here. Yeah. But then the injury hits.
Yeah.
How tough was that?
It was devastating. I never really experienced like a significant injury like that. And so like it took a toll on me mentally for sure. But it was easier, as months went on. Not easier regarding like we had some downfalls during the season, but it was easier because my teammates and my coaches were around. I never felt like isolated, even though there were times, honestly, when I really tried to isolate myself. That was just like the normal thing to do for me, but it was easier just being around them every day. So.
You never had anything like that? Any kind of serious injury?
Besides an ankle sprain from running and hitting the baseline too hard or something in practice. But
wow.
That's it.
That's it. So that's got to be tough to go through. I mean, you're playing, you'd never been through anything like that. It's a mental challenge also, isn't it?
Yeah, it was mental. It was mentally tough for sure. But I realized, like this is not the hardest thing I've been through. Like as a child, I've been through some pretty hard stuff, losing my father and just pretty tough challenges as a child, but that kind of made me, get through my injury and realize that I can get through this. And Coach Nikki always called me resilient. So
How did you stay engaged with the team, and how the coaches keep you engaged in a year when you're not going to play?
Yeah, for sure. So I would do like rehab on the sideline. So I remember we were at the Big 12 tournament, and I would really try to isolate myself. I don't think you understand. I would really try to like go to the side, like go sit in the bleachers. But, like something really kind of came out of me. It was like, let me get outside of myself, because this will probably help me next year. And just putting all my energy into my teammates instead of keeping it all in. So.
Gotcha. So all that time you're rehabbing, you can't play. How much in the back part of your mind, maybe the front of your mind is, can't wait till next year so I'm healthy and get out there on the court?
Yes. When I was rebounding, that was all going through my mind. I can't wait to play with Dre. I can't wait to just win. I can't wait to just get out there, just hoop again.
Yeah. You and Dre were kind of a pair. I mean, both of you, two really good players that Baylor was counting on, but neither of you were available last year.
Yeah, and it was very unfortunate, and we really wanted to come out this year and just, not prove anything, but, just make our mark and make our mark on this team and lead in a way that we can in any type of way.
Good. A lot of times players, you can work on things, during a year like that also. Yeah. What's the difference you've seen in your game from year one here to year two?
Yeah, I would say it's crazy to say, I'm probably more even aggressive, on offense and on defense. I think my defensive game has really improved in the SEC. Coming from the SEC and coming from my former team, I think defense here, we pride ourselves on defense, and Coach Tony really prides us on defense, and we work on it every day. And so I just think I really started to focus on my defensive part.
That's good.
Yeah.
You got to play defense or you're not going to see the floor, right?
You're not.
I mean, that's a pretty simple message, and I'm sure one you got quickly. As we record this, it's mid-February, so you got some really big games left down the stretch, and then we go into the postseason. What would you like to see from your game and from the team over the remaining stretch?
Just from like a personal standpoint, I don't want to stay aggressive. I want to stay aggressive on both sides of the ball. I want to pick it up even more on defense, go grab more rebounds. I want to do like the hard work for my team personally. And then as a team, I just want to win. I think we are all on the same page. We just need to pick it up a little bit, a lot of it. It takes a lot to win. And so we got to, really finish out that stretch, finish out that fourth quarter, and start the game well. I think last game we really didn't start the game pretty well. We kind of started a little sluggish, but it's just time to pick it up. Yeah.
It's a good league, isn't it? I mean, there are really good teams in the Big 12.
I was actually surprised by the Big 12 this year.
No, it's really good, and you're right there in the mix also. So Selection Sunday, have you thought about that when that comes around, and how fun that's going to be for you?
Yeah, it's going to be real fun. I never played in the NCAA tournament or NCAA game, like tournament game. So it's just, I've been there last year, of course, when we went and played Alabama, UConn, but I never actually physically played in the game. So it's going to be a lot of feels in the air, but I can't wait.
That's good. I mean, that's part of the reason you came to Baylor, right?
Yes.
Was to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's just been a dream of mine since I was a little girl, and coming here, it's a big part of why I came here, and I'm just ready for it.
Yeah.
When the lights come on, I'll be ready.
That'll be fun. What about congratulations? You passed 1,000 rebounds for your career, and we're honored with that recently. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you.
What was that like, that presentation to you, recognizing that?
Yeah, it was a little bit bittersweet. You know, I really wasn't keeping up with it until like somebody mentioned it to me towards the closer to me getting it. But I never really caught up where I was keeping up with the number. But it was
That's good. That's what Shelby's for. Shelby can keep up with your rebounds. But congratulations on that. That's a great honor. And man, that's a lot of rebounds if you think about it. Yeah. All right, let's talk about you a little bit off the floor. Okay. What do you like to do in your spare time? Do you have any hobbies?
Well, I like to go on like trails a little bit, like Lover's Leap out here in Waco. I like to go on that. I see. The thing is, I don't like bugs though.
Don't like bugs?
No, I don't like insects and bugs, but I do like to walk on trails and like go to.
Good. Now let's make the distinction. You love your teammate bugs,
but I love Dariana.
But for real bugs, you don't like. All right, just wanted to make that point. So you can't. It's hard to go hiking and stay away from bugs sometimes, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, but I try to just go where less bugs and insects are. So.
I got you. Cameron Park's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of trails up there.
Parks, I went to the zoo here, and I was surprised by the zoo here in Waco. Yeah,
it's very nice, very nice. Any other favorite spots you like to go to in Waco that you've discovered?
Well, I eat a lot at Olive Branch in the morning. I'm about to go get Olive Branch in a minute.
As soon as we finish, right?
Yeah, I love Olive Branch. I love like single dates for myself. Like I think that's like good for me because I just want to take time to myself sometimes.
I got you. That says to me you're secure in yourself, you know? You know who you are and you're secure in being Aijha Blackwell.
I try to be.
That's great. All right, one question we like to ask everybody, when your time at Baylor is done, how would you like for fans and Baylor people to remember Aijha Blackwell?
Yeah, I just want Baylor fans and just people here at Baylor and the Baylor community just to remember me as somebody who was just energetic, you know, somebody who was a people person, but I'm also a little shy, so I may not speak when I first see you, but I'm a people's person. I'm very energetic. I'm very inclusive. I want to get the community involved. You can kind of see that on the court when I'm hyping up the crowd, but I just love a community feel.
Thanks again for joining us on the Sic Em Podcast, a sport and story production. If you enjoyed this conversation with Aijha Blackwell, head over to BaylorPlus.com where you can watch the premium video version of this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast, leave a review, and tell your friends about us. I'm your host, John Morris, and I hope you'll join us next time for another edition of the Sic Em Podcast.